for themselves. We need to relax and be in the universe because the universe has guided us with timings and opportunities. So I feel we're in a next phase where I don't think people should be completely, if you want to use the word breatharian, or completely abstinent of dense matter or food and things like that at the moment, because that period is not open yet, but it will be again because it has been in the past. And through my lifetime, I have seen it in sections of periods where it has been open. And this is the time to really connect into who you are in your soul sovereignty before we go on to humanity. This is the time to really be authentic of who you are as your sovereign gift and tapping into the place of your soul. And this is where we talk about the Son of God, which is your heart, which is the sun, which is the portal that we enter through, not from the mind, the wanting to will, wanting to try and listen to so many different people and so many different theories that this is the way. There is not this is the way. There is many ways. There's many ways that lead to the path. There's many ways that lead home. But if you want to go the fastest way, and if you live dangerously, and you're on the edge, like most of us people are, that want this space to be in the awe, then you go through the heart. And the other place you go through is the fire. I now call it icy fire because even the ice burns. So that is the place of the womb. Now, what I talk about is not your normal things that people talk about, say at the Pranic World Festival in Italy, for example, because they would talk about all sorts of things which are irrelevant, but we've passed a lot of that. And we are ready for the next phase, and that's why the doorway is closed at the moment. If you want to be 100% no food, if you want to put the sticky tape over your mouth, it's not going to work. And that's why the universe will give you lots of patterns and cycles to help you, support you, if you're willing to surrender. So we go through thy will and not my will, and we surrender to that, and that's the place we want to kind of be. So when you ask me that question, like, do we have lots of talks on webinars and things like that, that goes through the sections and cycles of the universe when that is ready and when we go into the next phase. And I will say, yes, there'll be many talks, but you know, the one talk no one talks about in the silence is the one that we're reconnecting now. You know, I can feel Korea. I can feel your people. I like to go to Korea. I like to put my feet onto the earth and feel it through my womb and my heart and go that path. I like to go to Netherlands. I like to go to France, especially the south of France. Nicholas invited me again to Italy, to Florence. I love to sing there, you know. I love to sing. And that's the energy we want to be in. So I think if you recording this video, which is so beautiful, and thank you for doing that. You know, it takes so much time and effort. Every time I do a video and you get on and you have to do the pre-stuff, the post stuff, and you talk to people's minds and questions, and Oh, it's a challenging one for little Ranjeet, and I don't like to do it so much until I can fund it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm flourishing. I want abundance in all forms, and to flourish what we have to help support the next phase of what's going to happen. Because do you know we're going to live past 150? Do you recognize there is 1,000 years with Christ on this planet? So that means as technology evolves, our body technologically evolves because everything is aligned and everything rises up together. So we bring in our technological form, our light body. And one of the things I wanted to talk about, and I think I sent you the message, is the one about forgiveness. Because when we are here to in this particular calendar period when the planets all align and we go into full moon and the greatest love, if you want to use a demonstration of Christ and Jesus, forgive all sins of all times, of all ancestors, past, present, and future. That means everything's already done. But the human mind will still activate the nervous system in the physical body and it will go through the ancestors and it will look and feel familiarity because it's family. Familiarity is family. And then you're like, oh, why am I carrying this? Well, guess what? You, the peacemaker in your family, you, the one that's come through that generation, you are the one that has to create the freedom for all of them, for all of your familiarity, your nervous system, your physical body. You're here to actually forgive and also forget because a concept that you've never ever been traumatized. Can you handle that one that you've never ever been abused, you've never been a victim, you've never been traumatized? Do you know you are free from all that? Because this period right now is already done. So if you want to surrender, how about surrendering right now to the greatest love that came? And this is it that allowed me to non-consume for very long periods of time. It's this, it's the intimacy, it's the surrender, it's the faith, it's the falling, it's the living dangerous, it's being on the edge of it all. Like you're so on the edge that you could go either way. Your mind could go either way. And I find when the third eye and the visions will automatically open up to the truth when you're in here and you've surrendered. The life of celibacy is beautiful, by the way. And so when you open up that third eye, that's when the real true visions of the heart are exposed to you because then you've surrendered into thy will. And then those visions are so crystal clear that it is actually already happened. And this is your gift, your unique sovereign way of living the path of truth. So that's why I kind of do deep dive into the soul because I was never asked to open up, but I'd never wanted to open up the group, really. I was asked by my three angels or beings of light, and I've had many dramas by opening up that group during that time. And I did not concerned with people's thoughts or ideas or whatever. I had to fall into it. And people come and go. I don't. like being on social media so much personally, but I will for God. And it's been a very beautiful journey since 2018. And it still is the most magical, amazing, incredible, deeper, passionate, full of fire journey. And it feels the same as the day I was born. And it should feel the same for you because you're a miracle. And I'm here because you are here. And I am possible because you are possible. And that's where our deep dive into the soul's about. We did these unique people in all different corners of the planet. And love reaches all places, including trees, nature, atmosphere, molecules. Our molecule in the body, our cell, is just as pure as the molecule and cell in the atmosphere. That is what we marry, and that is what is breatharian. It's the unity, the unification, the intimacy between ourselves and our Creator. That is what we nourish off. That's what feeds us. That is the answer to it all. So when it comes to willing yourself to not consume with all these different ways, and I can get cranky about this. I can get really cranky about all the different fasting methods, and you know that picture that they show you, oh, this person ate meat and then they ate veggies, and then they ate this, and then they drank urine, and then they drank water, and then they went to air. I'm going to tell you, I will give you an idea. It's a lovely idea, right, to move the body through fasting. But I'm going to give you an idea. That didn't happen to me. That never happened to me. So you can grab that photo and you can go burn it because it's just an idea. How about this idea? That all the thoughts, every idea is an idea. If you dissolved all that, all the thoughts, all the philosophies, all the knowledge, all the psychological bullshit, everything, right, goes down and you come down to one thought. And that one thought was the one that is the fire or the icy fire of love. How the whole, the universe was created. And here we come back into duality with all these stories. And half of the time it comes from a familiar. And it's not even true. So it's easy and simple to live in love because then there's no much duality. The duality is minimal. You can entertain duality for a moment, the suffering, and you can enter out of the suffering at any time. So oneness is beautiful because it encompasses all duality. So we can dissolve it at any time. And the universe is full of love. So is the ocean, which goes into the universe as well. So is the earth. So is the plants and the birds that sing to you in 432, Divine Nine. We can talk in Divine Nine, our voice can be 432. We can sing with the birds. We can bring life to everything. Our womb brings life. We all have a womb. We can bring life to anything. And that's why I want to flourish deep dive, because I want to bring life to it. We all do, and we have to be ready and prepared for the next phase of our technological form, our light body, so we can help serve bigger and greater in love. Because we have a responsibility in that. When we have knowledge, we have power. When we have power, we have a higher integrity and we have a higher responsibility. But there's some of the things I like to share. I'm a very different person because everyone's unique, and I want you to believe in you rather than follow and believe in everyone else. I want you to look in the mirror and have a look how crappy your mind is. I want you to look in the mirror and have a look at your ideas and thoughts and recognize it's all full of shit, really. Like it's all full of crap. Like you're full of crap. That's why you want to fast. Because there's so much crap in yourselves. And it's not your fault. It comes from, you coming into this world. You asked to come in. You've come from a particular family. And you have the strength and the resilience of all the past wars. Like Korea, gone through many wars. Like your mothers have suffered. But I know the story of Korea very well. Everyone talks about Japan, right? I know the story of what your grandmothers have gone through. I know it. I know what they had to sacrifice for you to be here. Now it's your turn to free them. It's your turn, because then as the next generation comes through, they have to come into a greater light body. And all of your grandmas, I've gone past through my 9 grandmothers, right? I will tell you now, all of your grandmothers, all that female energy, all that space of that, it is cheering you on. It is like cheering you. It's going, free yourself. It's so simple to be with God. You will automatically fast. It's just an automatic thing. Like it seems like it's natural. Like the tree, when you go hug a tree, do you know how much hydration's in a tree? Like, do you know, like when you go hug a tree, like a real old tree from, Earth was born, like you go hug that tree and you're empty, the sap in the tree will just ooze through your body because you are in intimacy. You are ecstatic. I'm going to try and use this word, but I don't know if Zoom's going to kick me off. You are in the orgasmic state. Oh, it didn't do it. You're in the orgasmic state. Means that you are giving life and creation to everything. That's why you can regenerate your body. And you can regenerate everything, your teeth and all those things. And, you can continually change and mold yourself to whatever you want. And your Korean grandmothers, Dutch grandmothers, Punjabi grandmothers, they're a bit tough, the Punjabi grandmothers. You can rest assured those feisty women are right there with you. The fire of those women are right there. Their womb is strong, they're right there. You're not on your own, because you're never alone. We think we go on this state alone, we go on this journey alone, and alone in itself is another bullshit concept. I don't want to be by myself. I'm lonely and all this. And oh no, it's a journey that's not for everybody, but it's a journey that's worth it for you because you're on this Zoom webinar. So there's something that you're seeking, uh, even though it's already seeked in you. It's seeking you, and you're seeking it. And it's a funny thing because it's been seeking you for so long, and it was always there. It was never not there. So where does the seeking come from? Well, it comes from surrendering. Surrendering into the seeking, falling into it. Dissolving. Anyone to dissolve and come out of dissolving and still be here as a human is quite miraculous because it's not for everybody, and people can lose their minds. And the mind has to be very strong, and that's why your Korean grandmothers were very strong, and that's why you're still here, is because you have very strong resilience in you, and you can tap into that for freedom. Everybody wants freedom, and we are free from the boundaries of our prison cells. So that Cape Town video of Nelson Mandela, which I gave you about forgiveness, he was free in the bounds of the cells and was able to forgive everything. And if we can forgive for our Korean grandmothers, then they're free from those boundaries and whatever they went through for you to be here. And so that in itself is a miracle. And we don't need to dwell on that because you are a miracle already. You're amazing to be here in your pure light. And that is what we feed off, is the miracle of light. And it's very easy to see it. If we go back to, I like to go to Yajumi, who actually comes from Australia, and she only lives not very far from me. I have not met her, but I do remember her story when I was 16, 17. And there are some truths in everything that she has mentioned, but the world's not ready to hear those things. It's too impossible where I am possible. And now we're here.
You
I
s-
think
you
it's
you
what
said you said Jasmine, the lady?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah, I did, yeah. You would know, I think you people would know the story if you
Mm.
are living the pranic world, yeah. Yeah, she lives one
Ranjeet,
hour north.
oh,
Mm.
thank you for sharing everything. Um, and like you said, I feel we've interviewed some people like who would be on the Pranic Festival in Italy, and I feel you're a little bit different, like energetically. But I'm curious, like because you mentioned Nelson Mandela, and many people talk about surrender, um, surrendering to thy will, not being enslaved by your shitty mind, but then they experience this peace, their heart opens, but most of them, I would say, still believe that still we have this physical body, so we need to eat. I'm just curious. You can just tell me, hey, don't you quiet your mind, don't ask me. But if you are willing to answer, um,
Oh, yeah.
like how did it happen to you? I know you went through 518 days or this period. So what was your experience like or you didn't have any detox, like energy going down, if you can share, how could you have that faith or just inner knowing that we're feeding off of energy, light, unlike most people who talk about surrender and stuff. Am I clear? You
Yes. And I can understand your question and where you're coming from
Mhm.
and the perception of those questions. I've had it many times. Why is my experience so different? And I do know the answer to it. Majority of people go through this experience not because, and mine is very different. Most people go through this experience because they do it for health reasons. So 90, I think 97 or 98% will go through a reason of that, or they'll go through a reason of wanting to be pranic maybe, or they fell into it, or they heard someone do it. I'll give that a go. Um, I never went, I never went through it for a reason of health, and I've also had three, one physical death, which I don't talk about much, and then one born again to Christ's death, and this is my third one. And I have fasted, if you want to call it fasting, when I was 16 and 17. And that was an interesting experience in itself. That was also natural. I also believe, because I am of Indian nature or Indian blood or Indian genealogy, and this doesn't make any difference because all DNA is the divine DNA. But there is things in my nervous system and my biology that makes it a lot easier for me to do that as well because they went into, like, I think Korea as well. There is a place where there is a part of a gene where you can actually not consume and you'd be fine. So that familiarity is there, which I didn't know, by the way. I never knew. But if you asked me, my reason is this: I hungered to be with God so much that I already died. So I hungered, and that's why it's not for everybody. I went through this space where did not, I did care for my human body, I did care, but I cared for something that was so greater that was already in me. And all I ever wanted to do is be intimate with that. And so I was told not to read books. I was told to let everything go, which I did. I didn't have my career. I left my ex-husband. I had no money. I had no vehicle.
Hello, hello.
I had no home. I was literally zero, no money coming in Western civilization. I handed it over, everything. And I had my 2 feet and my backpack. I had hardly any clothes. I used to talk to my group and people on an LG phone. I used to go to shopping centres for free Wi-Fi. So to be ground zero, that the only place that you can be is to completely rely everything on God, that's hardcore in Western civilization. I think some people have been there through maybe mental challenges. I didn't have a mental challenge. I had a hungry for God challenge. And maybe my age, going through life and the universe gateway being opened for me to enter into it. I was ready, and I don't know if I was ready, but I was in the unknown. So that's the difference I found when I went through this group I was led to, which was called the Master Fast System 2018. And I said to my three angels, I said, why am I here? Oh, because we're going to show you and teach you how they say this thing about dry fasting. I said, oh, I don't even want to dry fast. I didn't even want to do it. So that's another thing. And when I was in there, I thought everybody was doing it because it seemed so normal to me. But then I recognized, no, that was not the case. And then I was not here. So, when you can separate yourself from all your emotions and dissolve and be in another space, then wisdom would come to you. So the wisdom was starting to be realized, and everything I kind of knew before I was born, coming into this world, how I came in, all the dissolving of all the so-called stories.
Mm.
Then there's only one spot that you're left in. They call it emptiness and nothingness and all that sort of stuff, but I just want to call it love. So you're in this space and you go, oh, the whole consuming act of love. And I think that's what my story may be unique and different, but there would be some similarities as well. And when I found out about Nicholas and the breatharian world and that was astonishing to me because I was hungry to find people like me. I was hungry to find people that are familiar to me. And because I thought to myself, am I the only person in the whole world that has this greatest capacity to love and give? Because is there anyone like me? And there is, which is not a lot, but there is, because we have a personality in us that is self-sacrificial already. So we already were born givers because we kind of know that the sun never stops giving. And then when I recognized that the light was feeding me and I was always being fed, then I realized the whole concept of food is such a lie. But I'm not saying not to eat, by the way, because sometimes people commune with each other for love. See, when you commune with each other for love in a place of being together, and if those essences and sounds of dance are there with your family, I'm not saying not to, that's even sometimes not so good for people, right? But I'm just saying there's periods and there's seasons and there's universes where this happens. If anyone comes and talks to me now, I'm going to tell you to consume, not to non-consume.
Mm. Mhm.
I don't know if I answered your question, but you can ask me specific if you want to, if it helps.
Thank you. Because I think I've been there knowing that food doesn't give me energy, whether it slows me down, blocks my intuition and everything. Then, like you said, at some point, I feel I made an ego around it, all the thoughts and um. But when I just quiet my mind and even observe now, my body runs on not it doesn't run on food, but let's say I don't eat or drink anything for 3 4 days and I'm super energetic. Run. I was like walking 30 kilometers some days ago here, and then when I eat, um, I kind of fall asleep, or that's where I am now.
Oh,
So if you're curious, if you want to share, like I'm curious about your relationship with food, even a bite of orange makes you weak, or how do you say it? You don't get affected, or do
Mm.
you? Mm,
Another
Yeah,
thing
no.
maybe you can add on top
Mm.
of that is, what does your sleep look like, Ranjit?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll talk about the food thing first, right? Because that's a common thing, right? And I'm going to say this to you. Everybody's different. Everybody's mindsets are different. Everybody's stories and perceptions are different. And we're all going to try and want to do this thing called figure it out. And that's why I like 9 months to 9 days, because you can go dry fast if you want to talk dry fast or being the nothing place, close to your natural state, for 9 days in season change when the planets are all lined up because it's all about energy. And you can intensify it. And it's like doing 81 days because then we'll do 9 to the power of 9. So you will get 81 days of 9 days that will really intensify your body, right? That's why listen to that energy of the universe, because you've got new moon, you've got full moon, and you've got 9 days. So if things do for some reason work in the power of nine, divine nine, and numbers do speak sometimes in that. But for you, you and it could be familiar for other people, you've taken your body already, your physical body, to certain spaces. So you've worked in the physical body more than into the other place. So you've listened to stories, you listen to things, and you've gone through your personal experiences with it, and you're trying to figure out, look, oh, but I go eat something and it makes me feel this, and that's what food does. Oh, is it my thoughts that are doing that? You're definitely not in a place, I can tell just by that question, is that you should automatically be able to dissolve anything that you consume. It should be automatic. The body should be a flow anyway. But the thoughts in itself are its own energy food, right? And that's going to also slow things down. And that's why it comes down to a lot of releasing, a lot of talking to the mirror, a lot of how you're doing that, how you're living in the world. Sometimes I hear this thing, people go to nature and they don't eat and they don't consume and they come back to the world. And you know what? Everything there in duality is still there to confront. Like, these autonomous people, I love them. And they will go away, or any breatharian actually will go away and they'll go live like a yogi in a way. And then they come back and everything's still there. It's because it's the duality of everything that's happening is still there in the body, and that needs to be also released more and more. I don't think the gateway's open for it just yet. So we're in training, you're in discipline, training, working it out. And sometimes I will say to people, maybe you got to go and eat your ancestors' food like fish, right? For a bit. Go feed the ancestors in you for a bit. Because you got to kind of tap into energetically what's really happening on the planet. And if you find a way where you can tap into that more, then it's going to be much more easier, and it is a lone journey for you. It's not going to be the same. But I do agree with you. If a physical body has been fasting, it comes down to the physical mind and the physical body, and there's many, many people out there that teach it how you enter a fast and how you break a fast. And if you're doing dry fasting and you don't enter into it in a very effective way for your body, if you're not kind to yourself, right? and then you exit out of it, not kind to yourself. You go have a bit. I've known so many people that have binged and they get themselves into trouble, right? They can't stop it. And then they have bowel issues, physical issues. It's actually more of a detriment to them, to themselves. So then you get back to the other part where the person will go, and more females will do this more so than guys, I find, is they go into like, oh, I can't have anything if I eat anything. And then they get sick and unwell. So it's forcing something, and you shouldn't force it. And this is where I have seen more people, I've spoken to more people that get into trouble, right? You can get to a certain spot, and that's to stay there if you have to stay there. You know that for yourself. More people get into trouble in this journey I've spoken to than the other way around because the mind, it's not strong enough. So you've got to work on mindset, resilience, and you've got the physical body and the emotional body that goes with it. And not many people want me to coach them, and you can't. You can't coach them because it's an inner guidance. It's like I can say, come to 9 months to 9 days, and this is what we do, and most people will be okay. If you know how to enter a fast, you know how to break a fast, everyone's going to be fine. But one of the most beautiful things about doing it together in the universe is this expansion of love and dissolving together. All the thoughts and everything doing it together is the love, right? So that is the thing that's going to do it. But you know what? Everybody I speak to, no matter what, going to do it their way. And they're going to do it like I can do it myself. Oh, I got it. I figured it out. I figured out if I don't eat an orange at a certain time, or if I don't do this, I figured it out. You ain't figured out nothing. That's just ego talking. No one's figured it out because that food also, do you pray on when you eat? Like, do you like give it love so that you have a marriage with it? I can pick up a tomato, my story, I can put it in my hand and I can have this love affair with the tomato and I can absorb all its essence, its nutrients into my body. So I've been fed by the earth. So these are little secrets that people don't know. And they're not going to know because the ego will get in the way and they reckon they can figure it out. But when you recognize it's a vortex of energy and we're all one, oh, I've been in oneness. So like, why have you been in oneness and don't understand that when I talk to you, you are me? So you got to pray on anything that gives you anything. Like you got to love on all that. I don't know if I answered it. Everybody, the mind will go into how to. I do this, I do this, I do this, and it works fine. But do you realize your cells are changing? Your trillion cells are changing all the time. And are you in purity with your thoughts? Are you thinking sexual things and bad, like all sorts of things? And, what are the three things? It's pornography, gambling, gluttony, greed, all those things. They destroyed the world. And your beautiful friend Eugene asked me a question. I want to answer it. What was your question, my friend?
I'm looking for the unmute button. I was talking about sleep. So, what does your sleep schedule look like?
Oh, yeah. So in the 518 days and even beyond that, I very rarely slept. The reason why is because when you're in the other state, I live in so I would live in the meditative state. So I'm rested anyway. You're not consuming hardly anything. And so the body is highly energized. But you have to rest. You have to find a way to stay in that spot.
Hmm.
So, yeah, the sleep is a lie as well. You don't need much sleep. I used to try and force myself to sleep. And I do every now and then sleep now. I may try and like if there's a lot going on in my mind, lots of things happening, I will go to sleep and I'll allow myself to sleep nowadays at the moment because I'm in a different phase at the moment. So there's a lot of things that are feeding my mind. So I'm like, okay, I've got to able to allow the healing to happen because there's just a lot of noise. But yeah, generally, um, there isn't much sleep. And the funny thing is, visions and things are usually created around 4 o'clock in the morning. So when you get your downloads, it's usually around that time. And it's usually really good when you're a new moon, full moon, and season changes because, like, for some reason, you feel it in your body. You feel that energy in your body. And, like, you go, oh my gosh, all the realizations. Oh my gosh, I got to, oh, what I'm feeling, what I know, this knowledge. Oh, thank you, God. Thank you for sharing this with me. I already knew this information. I'm already known. It's not unknown. Like the realizations are just so powerful. And as a child, for me, maybe you all thought this, um, I always used to thought, please, God, I don't want to go to sleep. I don't want to miss a minute with you.
Hmm.
I don't want to miss a minute with God. I don't want to miss this because it's a short life. Even 1,000 years is short. It's that. I never ever want to miss a minute with all of you guys. God, I don't want to miss a minute with you. I don't want to miss it. So it's being that childlike play and then these spaces you actually forget about food. So you actually forget about, oh, do I need that orange? Or what's it going to make me feel like if I eat that orange or if I eat that food? Coming out, you're going to forget all that. And you're going to go into this other vortex where, I had my feast table, when I was first going through this and thinking about cravings, and I could eat whatever I wanted to eat, in the realms. I have my palace in my kingdom. I have a palace in my kingdom of God. And I can go into any of the rooms and open up any door. Purity is important too, because purity just keeps things very clean, and impure stuff isn't able to affect you as much because you end up creating I call it Joseph coats of colors and sounds. It's like, how sometimes you can't see all the colors on the earth here with your physical eye, but you can feel colors, which is different. So Joseph coat of colors is like your field strength, your aura that you have. And it's different colors because it's different. It's like sounds. So it's sort of like it has a different song to it. And so when in that other world, it's like you're feeding anyway from, they call it light, light. But it's like you're feeding from an energy force which looks like light to us, but um, it's more like if we took starseed, they talk about transcendence light or liquid light or those types of words where it, like I can see your light, right? So it's a different. The earthly eyes can't see. Only the internal eyes can see greater. How do you get there? I tell you one thing is to be with people like us and recognize you're not alone. And when you talk to other human beings that are caught up, you can love greater because you just say, it's okay, it's their story. If you can be there in that presence, sometimes they actually forget themselves because they're caught up in your light. So they forget. Yeah. So, like, Dongo, can you like separate yourself from your thoughts? Like, can you actually observe, be a watcher of your thoughts? Can you do that?
Seems pretty difficult.
Yeah. So there's this guy I think is really good, right? And his name's Muji, Mooji. Because I was doing this thing, and then one time he was talking about it, and people kept asking me. I said, used to say, why can't you just watch your thoughts? Because you don't own your thoughts. Like you don't own your emotions, you don't own your body, you don't own it. You're just someone watching it. And Muji is someone that actually teaches it very well. And because most people want to try and understand from the mind, and it's really difficult, but you can watch your mind. You could, like, I call myself little Ranjeet because I'm the child, and there's a wounded child, and there's the happy child. And so I go, I love you both because the wounded child, guess what? I know you've been rejected, right? But you only got rejected because you rejected the greater one in me. I'm here, right? So when you watch your thoughts, right, there's all these things that people say, but if you recognize that none of them are true, and even when you're talking about food, this is for everything in your life, and you watch it and you go, well, that isn't me. That's not me because I'm pure love. I'm one. So the duality becomes very, very evident in front of you. And so there is no questions, right? So every single question is already dissolved in the conflict because the thoughts will keep you entrapped because we came here on earth and it's a tough place to live for the mind. So we go into survival, we go into safety. So then, like, when you're observing it, you are already, like, if you really want to know, I was already safe by non-consuming because it wasn't there. I didn't own that part that wasn't me. And so if no one's had that experience, and people write about that you need to have food and all this sort of stuff, it's because they haven't had that experience of what I've had or what you've had. And so it's not scientifically proven. So science keeps evolving, doesn't it? So doesn't our bodies technologically keep evolving? So when you look at all that, and everything is limitless and it's infinite, it's eternal, that means that only thing is that, the mind or the thoughts will forever change. So you just observe and you go, that's okay for right now. I'm okay with those thoughts. They're all lies anyway. But tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow, which is today, right now, then that one will come through. I say this to you. I say, let all thoughts come through. Let it be. Love on it anyway, because if it wasn't the duality of thoughts, if there wasn't the conflict, then there would never be divine correction. If your heart is pure and you are good, all thoughts are beautiful, even the ones like rejection, abandonment, non-worthy, not enough. They are too beautiful because then we wouldn't know enough, complete, fulfilled, enlightened, nirvana, all those things. You wouldn't know. How do you know what nirvana is? How do you know? My body has been in high amounts of ecstasy that it feels like I've nearly combusted, right? That's the energy of light. So when you have the fire come through you and you feel the heat and all that, you can't sleep and you can't eat. So what does it come back to? How much of a capacity can you really truly love yourself? How much? And I'll tell you something you can't because you would die. It's so physically, you'll just transition. But so when all those thoughts come in, sometimes the ego keeps you safe here on the planet. Sometimes the ego is a good one. The little Eugene, the little Drongo, the little Patricia, the little Connie, the little Brett, the little Samsung, the little Masong, and all these people. Sometimes the ego is beautiful. You kept me safe today for some reason. I don't need you, but okay, you've done your job. So I'm going to go have an orange or something.
Ranjeet, there's this Korean friend who left like a question in Korean. Um,
Beautiful.
I will translate it. But before that, a little bit of Korean. 어, 지금 뭐 미송님이나 토마토나 어, 한국어로 좀 얘기하고 싶으신 거 있으면 남겨주셔도 되고요. 미송님도 어, 이해 안 되시는 것도 얘기해 주셔도 돼요. Uh,
He's saying, please leave
so,
your comments.
yeah. So Ranjit, actually, I don't know her name. I call her Tomato. The tomato.
Oh, okay.
The Samsung SM. Yeah, this person. I don't know why she's Tomato, but she said she's a housewife. 가정주부? housewife 하면 되나, 유진? 뭐 housewife and like she's a Christian and she's vegan basically. But her family is not vegan, and the thought came to her head to her that like Jesus 죄를 사하여 주셨다. 이게 영어로 뭘까요, 유진아?
Kind of saved us from our sins, like gave us salvation, something like this.
Yeah, that thought came to her head. So she wants to be the peacemaker herself and share the freedom. That's just what she said. And if you have anything to share for her,
Oh, don't
this
you? The
tomato,
key
you
aspect she said was she wanted to do this for her family. Like, because earlier Ranjit was talking
mm,
about how you need to be the freedom maker of your family, something like this.
Yeah.
mhm.
I can talk about my family. Actually, my Ranjit means warrior of peace in Punjabi. Um, so the female energy is always going to want to bring peace to anything, and they want to resolve the conflicts in their family. It's not her responsibility to do that. Her responsibility is to be the peace within her.
Hmm.
And as she operates from that place, they will be affected by it. They'll be more affected by it than anyone else because of the biology. They will feel it, they will try and do things to hold you down so you don't evolve. But the way that she does that is not by pleasing them, by pleasing God. And that is the only way for her to do that. And if they are eating meat, just love on it anyway. Love when they are eating meat in front of you. And like I remember with my family, they were eating curries all sorts of things. And I like go, I'm not going to stop them from eating curries. There is a Korean curry that's very hot. I know that. So I'm not going to stop them. And I'm just going to be what God wants me to be. I go about my Father's business. That's what Jesus said. I don't go about everyone else's business. And I would say, I feel for her, but I would say that she would probably be separated from her family because the familiar is not familiar with her anymore. So there is some truth in about leaving your home and coming back. Um, and the peace will come after she's worked on her. The family will accept her more so because she'll be stronger. Peace is a strong thing. It's a very strong energy. There is no conflict in peace. So that would be for her if she's willing to step away from that and live with the tomato, be in ecstasy with the tomato. I think that would be very good.
Yeah,
I'm
Ranjit,
happy. Go
we've
ahead.
done some talks before, and I don't want to kind of translate every talk you give, but this one particular, because she asked it, you we can take some time to translate it into Korean. It's okay?
Yes.
Uh-huh. 유진아, 너 좀 해볼래?
Oh,
란지
well, I was just kind of absorbing. I wasn't ready to re-emit that statement. Do you have it on notes? Don't you? Maybe I'll fill in the holes.
그래서 토마토, the Korean pronunciation is tomato, but 이제 그 피스메이커 되고 싶다고 얘기했잖아요. 근데 란지 씨 처음에 여성 에너지는 어느 곳에든 이제 피스메이커 좀 평화를 만들고 싶은 게 자연스러운데, 아,
그다음 한 가지는 막 그 뭐 고기 먹는 사람 사이에서 약간 행복해 하라고, 그러니까 웃으라고. 너무 그 에너지로 다운되지 말고. 그다음에 막 평화가 큰 힘이다 이렇게 얘기했지 동규.
그래서 막 평화를 만드는 게 토마토의 responsibility, 막 그 책임이 아니고, 유일한 책임감을 가질 것은 내면의 평화가 되는 것. 음, 그래서 그 가족 멤버들을 막 pleasing 꼭 기분 맞춰줄 필요도 없고, 내면 신 앞에 충실하면, 아, 된다. 그 세부적인 거는 나중에 제가 찍어놨으니까 얘기 더 해봐요. 음,
동규, can I ask a follow up? It's related to this.
yeah, go on.
So, because you were talking about like the family, bringing freedom to the family and stuff, do you think there's a circumstance where certain members it's better not to try to free them, if that makes sense? Like, because maybe it would do more damage to yourself. And then the kind of second question to that is, what's the best way to love? Like, would you say it's creativity? Would you say it's art? Like, how would you answer those questions?
I definitely, your first part of the question is correct. It's always about freeing oneself because once you free oneself, then other people, it's easy for them to be free, even if they choose or choose not to, because they may still want to stay in the prison because of the safety of the ego. So that would definitely happen. Um, what was your second question? I'm very sorry.
Here, just unmuting. I was saying, what's the best way to? Because I think this is related. You were talking about love, right?
Yeah,
Like to
yeah,
maximize love that you give to others, and maybe that is related with freeing your family from, these
mm,
chains. So, what's the best way?
yeah,
And I give an example.
yeah.
Is it creativity? Is it art? What exactly
Mm.
does that look like?
Right. It can, I mean, creativity is something that is definitely coming from the place of ecstasy and love in your heart. You can give to everyone. I always say, feel led. Um, I went and got my windscreen done on my car, and this lady was telling me, oh, it's going to be 2.5 hours. You can go and sit at this cafe or wherever it is over there. And she says, I really, really love it, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, why do you like it? And she said about the food, right? So it was about food. So when I came, she saved me an Uber fare for a taxi by giving me that information. I still bought her back food to say thank you. That the smallest amount of acts of love, even smiling, is so powerful because if you're in your heart, you will be automatically led how to love on another human greater. If that person is in conflict with you, sometimes it's better just to be in silence and allow the conflict to, and as they're talking, if you're in love, the conflict will stop. It should stop. Silence is such a powerful, loving, peaceful tool that you can have. And giving, the mind has acts of giving. And so sometimes the same giving you want, you give to other people. So giving of gifts, giving of time, giving of money, giving of certain things. Like this is an act of love right now. And so giving is definitely a way of an act of love for anybody. Your presence is an act of love. So even with the lady with her family, by just allowing them to be is an act of love. Giving them, if she likes to sew or things like that, that can be definitely a gift. There's so many acts of love. If she likes to, even in the sacred place, when I'll come off this call, I'm going to love on you, like and pray and love and feel things. So I can do that in the sacred place where you don't share it with anyone. That's really powerful because they're going to feel it, but they're not going to understand in their mind why. And then all of a sudden, like what happened with my family, like I'm sure they thought I was really weird, and I was. When I look back on it, and their behavior towards me has changed because I've created another way or how they used to perceive me as a human, like their daughter, they had these thoughts. So they had to change in order to love, so they could love me more. So it's really interesting when you're living in your own soul sovereignty, how others just automatically start to change and they don't even know how to talk to you. Like when we're living this way, how do you think the others are being affected? It's like it's not fair to them either because you're evolving. They're still either devolving to you. It's actually the gap is greater, even though you were there at one stage with them. And then all of a sudden you're going here and it's like, but how do you close that gap? For them, it's going to take a massive transformation. And you know what? The reason why you're here is because of that. Is because of that. So we be grateful to the ability that we know better, we've got greater integrity, and we can love greater, and we can do more acts of kindness to that. And when we do it to that, we do it to our heart does to everything. It's like all families, all things, just by our awareness. It doesn't mean you're a doormat. It doesn't mean that you don't get disrespected. If someone's doing some not so good thing, you have to stand firm in the fire still. Like we know what's going on in the world. I don't give much time and thought to that, what's going on in the world. I give more time and thought to what is the possibility of this world. And so when you look at someone, your mum is this and that, I would look at them at their possibility,
Mm.
not who they are right now. I forgive who they are right now. I think that's probably the way. That's a long answer. That's a good one. That's a really good question. I like that.
Very interesting. So
I
you're
like that.
saying that you almost see an aspect of them inside of them before they see it. So you almost bring that
Yeah,
better aspect of them out of them, something like this, huh?
yeah, yeah. That's a really good way of putting it. And still doesn't mean that, sometimes we can get reactive in our emotions because we're trying to pull them our way. We're like, can't you see this? Like, you can't because they're not ready to see it and it's too much for them. So it's like I can see you, you know. Actually, not everybody can do that, Eugene. It's a tough one to do. But that when you have a breakthrough, like you kind of like go through things, and all of a sudden you break out. Like, whoa, I see more. And but then there's got to be another breakthrough, right? And most likely you will probably leave your family, most likely, because you're going to find people like us, and then you'll go back to your most likely that will probably happen because evolving um, is all about you and not about changing other people. I think there's going to be messy in the piece first. There's got to be, they've got to conflict with themselves and look at themselves in the mirror too.
Dongyu, how do you want to structure this? Do we translate that or we move on?
No, no, that was your question, so I think it's okay. And Ranjit, you can let us know whenever you feel, hey guys, let's wrap it up now. Like, I mean, but there are some questions. You're okay, like continuing a little bit? How do you feel?
I am so good. I'm happy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this Korean friends, we've had some questions. I'm curious if like people from Deep Dive, if you want to comment or have questions. You said in the beginning you guys don't gather that often, so maybe. Um,
They are so
meanwhile,
welcome.
meanwhile there was a question from this Korean lady. Her name is Mi Song. She said, in her words, I think I heard Ranjit say she had like conversation with three angels. I want to, I want you to tell us more about it because in the end, aren't angels just thoughts within you? Like that was her question.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think if you know me for a longer period of time, you'll probably get to understand there are some energy beings, whatever you want to call them, however we perceive the Bible to be. Um, so I will say many of us are known to this if we're awakened. I remember as a child, very young, that you have like your imaginary friends, but I didn't really have imaginary friends; they were real. So you couldn't talk to anyone about that, really. So you kind of hide it in the back of a little bit. You know it's there. They've helped me a lot. I mean, I could tell you so many stories, close instances, close everything through life, and I'm sure other people have some stories too. I'm not the only one. I'm no one special. And when oh, when I had my physical death, they were in the room and they saved me. So in a way, like I'm human, like I was still able to come back. And I've got proof and evidence of that. I don't talk about that so much because it's very personal. And then the next time I actually physically saw them with my eyes in ways that I've only ever felt them was when I became a born again Christian. And that was a miraculous conversion because I was trying to help my husband, who was very unwell with grandma seizures, for him to know Jesus. Right. So um, that was the third time I saw them. And I have talked about it in some of my videos here and there. I don't know where they are, but they're very tall and they're like lilac or pink or I don't know, in their translucent colors. And they've just been there, guided me, helped me, talked to me even before I even did no eating. I became celibate because of them, because I just wanted to feel the love so much. It's so strong. The love is very strong in this journey. And you can feel that energy in their heart. Um, yes, I have heard them all, inside of me. Then when I did this particular journey in 2018, they became very, very strong. And we began a relationships together, I guess, in friendship and um, helping me and guiding me in ways that I didn't kind of know. They were the ones when I said yes, I'm going to do this. I will not consume. The sounds of heaven, and they were with me. I heard all the trumpets and everything inside of me sing with them. So it's like a personal experience, but they're real. Um, and I have seen them once only, and they continue to be with me wherever I am. And I find they're more like guides or help, and we could have to commission our angels to help us, even in this journey, like with your families and that. You can actually commission for energy to create a space for receiving of love, and you can create and move energy. You can do all sorts of things. So they help me a lot with that, and we have legions of angels that support us if we're able to figure out how to tap into that. That's a whole new, that's a whole new different conversation. Could definitely go down that path, but the one thing I do know, you have to, if you believe me in anything, especially if you're a woman, if you can stay pure in your womb, um, you will be amazed at the miracles that you can feel inside of you, and what comes inside of you goes out. So the penetration's not in outside in. If you can stay pure inside out, and that's the ecstasy. And energetically, you could have higher great amounts of euphoria with another person, just say if you are with another person, more so than through physical, and that's a whole topic I'd love to talk about one day, more so.
Don't
But
give.
thank you.
Maybe you translate because I have a question very closely related to what you just talked about.
음.
Yeah.
그래서 미송님 이게 번역을 막 자세히 문장별로 다 하진 않고 뭐 알아들으신 것도 있을 수도 있고 제가 막 사진을 좀 찍어 놨으니까
Don't get you hit
Your
mute.
your Kor- your Korean women, it would be great if many of them went into celibacy, especially the young ones. because
Mm.
there's um, there's a lot of pain in many female wombs, and if they can purify themselves, it would be really good for them to do that because I can feel the pain already.
그 아까 통역은 다 디테일을 어디서 끊겼는지 모르겠는데 다 디테일을 얘기할 수는 없고 미송님이 그냥 디테일은 나중에 제가 얘기하고 사진 찍어놨으니까 이게 그냥 생각이 아니냐라고 물어보신 것 같은데 유진이는 어떻게 들었는지 모르겠는데 저는 그 실제로 에너지 존재로서 봤다. 그리고 지금도 같이 항상 함께 있다. 몇 번 봤다. 이런 얘기들을 한 것 같아요. 핵심은. 그래서 그냥 생각이 아니라 그 에너지 존재들을 네, 봤다. 이렇게 얘기한 것
막
같고.
도와줬다 자기를 이렇게 얘기한 것 같아.
음, yeah. So before Eugene asks you a question, Ranjit, how does Korean sound when you hear us speaking Korean?
Ah, oh, I just even when you were talking Korean before, like previously, I just like I got excited because like it's it's the song that you're singing, and to me it sounds so magical. It's like I want to learn it. It's like I want to hear the minds. I want to hear the duality. I really love it. I
If
can
you
listen to it all day.
if you
I've heard Korean music.
if you get to come to Korea, like we're preparing this festival, we could talk about it later, but maybe you could deep dive into the Korean soul. And then let's see how it flows.
I was already, I tell you what, I was already deep diving as soon as you contacted, before you contacted, but like, but as we got closer and closer, um, to our talk, uh, I see Korean people everywhere. You start to see Korean people everywhere, in Australia. And so I love Korean people. They've got a, they've got a lot of healing to do, but
Yes.
in the duality, I mean, you can do it suddenly and heal very fast.
Yeah,
Let me tell
Ranjeet,
you that now. Just
when you were saying you've seen many Korean people, I was like, oh no, she's seen the wrong ones.
yeah. Oh yeah, no, there's some good ones here. There's a big Christian community,
Mm.
in Brisbane of Koreans.
Yeah, so I mean, there are some like festivals in Europe, like Italy, Romania, but I felt it would be nice to have one here in like in Asia. Australia is not too far,
Yeah, yeah,
so let's
I
see how
love
it.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
um,
it's easier for me. That's for sure.
and maybe it'll lead to another topic that maybe which I will bring up later. But Eugene, you said you got a question or
Yeah, just because, part of me is so tired in that, how do you say, the non-celibate game that everyone is playing. It's a big game of cards, if you will. And so that's why I wanted to ask more about that, the celibacy thing, especially you were saying that a woman or a woman should keep her womb clear, right? So that maybe you could reiterate and kind of expand a little bit on that. And also, I want to
Yeah,
ask, is there a higher form of like sex, and could that still be classified as like chaste, if you know what I mean?
yeah. I tell you what, the thing I was going to say, it's really good how you had those two questions kind of linked together because if you're not having the physical penetration, it doesn't mean that you're not having sex.
Mm.
There is higher. And the more that you don't have to, I mean, people don't have to believe me, and it's okay. It's so okay. You have a life partner, and people will talk about having children, all those sorts of things. And it's okay. You be you. I'm just telling you from my experience how wonderful it has been. I think it's been 11 years now. And what happens when you are merged with God and you have that place and your room opens up into another world.
Mm.
And so quite it's quite interesting. I didn't know that the actual part before I went into Breatharian that that part actually helped me lead there. So it was like people. I think I did an interview with Jerome, and I was telling him I was talking about it, and it's very very. I don't like to use the word celibate, but I use it because people. Oh, now you're telling me I can't eat food, and now you're telling me I can't have sex. What else are you going to tell me next? And well, it all depends, right? So he thought I hadn't had sex for 10 months or something. I said, no, it's like 10 years, Jerome, right? And and it doesn't matter. Time is irrelevant. But there is something so magical. Even when I call it, they go through that menopause thing with women. I call it transition to wise woman. There's
Mm.
something so magical about being in a physical female body. I can only talk from that because that's what I am here and I can share. There's nothing, and by the way, a man to do it, whoa, man, you have no idea what you guys are going to experience. Like it is literally mind blowing. So, and you become a man. And it's like it's really cool. So you can use that energy to really be physical and stuff.
Mm.
And so for a woman, it's like it is so sacred, your womb, that man, like, is there miraculous conception? Yes, there is, right?
Mm.
And it is the most wonderful place. And if you give your womb to one person, okay, that's great, but imagine it being even greater than that. And it can be. Can you imagine entwining and dancing in intimacy, say with another partner if you're with somebody, and how that goes with nature and the universe together and you spiral together? Like that is like a whole new world with God
Mm.
in a way. And so, in actual fact, you're not losing anything, you're gaining more and more and more and more and more
Mm.
by surrendering it over. And if you get violently abused in that way, um, it's okay because God will always come in and correct that much more faster. Like, when you do go through certain things and in life, it's funny how your angels are there or the Holy Spirit is there. It's funny how it's just already there. Like they're there with you. You're not on your own.
Interesting.
I
So
love that.
what I
Listen,
kind of gather from that is the because sex is an energy exchange, but you're saying the energy exchange kind of refines itself into a more pure form, something like this.
yeah, it does. If the atmosphere and the molecules in the atmosphere is pure, like you are pure, can you imagine exchanging that energy with somebody that's the same
Mm.
or similar? It's just, it's too magical.
Huh.
It's, and it can be with the tree, right? Because I've had experience with trees, and I was like, is this real? Like, it's just no wonder the Buddhist or the monk puts the back, sits the back behind the tree. Like, it's this exchange of earth and
Mm.
ocean and universe and other beings, human beings. That is amazing. And if you have pure thought, like there's no, it's all clean. And, yeah, I can only talk from my experience, right? I'm not going to tell anyone never not to have sex. You go and sex yourself out as much as you want, right? I'm not going to say that. But I'm just going to say I like the way I live. I like my human lifestyle and I like my freedom. And the other thing too, if you having multiple different partners, can you imagine the energy exchange that happens?
Mm.
what happens with that, and a lot more stuff needs to, come out. People could say you can detach and all these things, but you can, but you got to realize there's an energetic force that's happening,
Yeah.
and allow your guidance to give you discernment in all situations.
Mm. Very good. I love that imagery with the tree, because I've always felt like the spine is kind of like a tree. So you just kind of clicked an image in my mind like, oh, it's like a tree and a tree kind of being plugged in, like an electrical conduit or something like that. Interesting.
You can feel a tree if you get really tuned into your sexual energy. You can go forget about earthing, right? Go on, work on your feet and go earth, blah blah blah. That's really good, right? Let's go a little bit deeper, right? Go be near a tree.
Mm.
Be completely ecstatic in your body. Be completely empty and clean. Go put your feet in the earth, especially an old tree. It will give you information, actually. There is an energetic exchange. You can go deep down into the earth and you can go across countries and under the ocean. Like there's this, when you feel the tentacles of it all and bang, get it back in your body. And that's when you get into a little bit of that teleporting, moving,
Huh.
stuff. And anyway, but anyway, the tree is a really good exchange of energy, very fast.
Hmm.
I've given you some gold nuggets today. Things that you haven't heard before, I believe.
Hmm.
What do you think, Dongyu? I do have
Yeah.
I do have more questions, but I feel like I'm speaking too much.
No, no, I mean, I was if
Mm,
Ranjit is okay, I was like
yeah.
doing all the talks before, so you can continue asking if you want, Eugene.
One of my questions was, it was very interesting that you talked about how like the womanly force of your ancestors are kind of pushing and loving you, right? So it got me thinking, uh, we have like kind of like an Eden project here, if you will, in the Philippines, and the mother of my kind of best friend here, she was saying that men are physically superior, like in this physical world, but women are superior in divinity. That's what she told me. And so maybe this is kind of what you're touching on, is that maybe like the man and the masculine is more of a physical guide in this very physical rough realm. And then as you're saying, is it true, like would this make sense to you, that the female is kind of spiritually guiding you, nurturing you, pushing you beyond the physical, something like this?
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. It does work the energies of male and female, if we don't talk about it in the physical form that we're in, um, but we talk about it from that place, you know, we all have it within us. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. And so a culture itself is a construct of ideas.
Mm.
Um, I know from my culture, yeah, it's interesting to grow up in it, but it's amazing how strong the women are in it. I used to favor to hang around with men more than women
Mm.
because women I find scary sometimes, myself. So, um, yeah, I think if you wanted to really break it down in a simple format, there is energy forces out there in the layers of the realms. But when you collapse it all, it's us here and we're everything. So in a way, if you always go into the Son of God and go back to everything is love, regardless if it's male or female, um, and however we see it, you're going to win. But once you get into energies, and it's just energies actually, you know, male energy is what like it's people can perceive it to be strength and physical and all these sorts of things, and women are much more intuitive, so they're going to tap into that much more, into the emotional body and things like that. They carry babies, they do a lot more in that way, so they have to be a little bit more sort of seeing all things where, sometimes the male brain is more focal,
Yes.
but I can have a male brain sometimes on certain things, be very focal. So yeah, I wouldn't get too much caught up into the ideologies of it. Yeah, just be you and love you, and
Very,
everything it
very
works
good point.
out.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
way I see it, I feel like it's true up to a point. It's just like fruitarianism or eating, there's like a best kind of eating. But then when you're at
yeah,
like another stage as you are, then those rules don't apply anymore. So I think it's like
no,
up, yeah, something like that.
100% agree with you. None of it applies in duality. Yeah, like that. Easy, hey, that's an easy way to live.
Ranjit, this lady Misong, she has another question. 미성님 근데 뭐 마이크 키거나 뭐 목소리 짧게 들려주실 수도 있나요? 아니면 그냥 제가 해도 되고. Actually, it's we've translated this book, Man's Higher Consciousness by Hilton Otema. Like people in this community, like chronic living, they read it a lot, and it says like human cells are immortal. Yeah, the reason people die is just because of toxins. Um, so her question, and I felt it while I was taking care of my grandma before she transitioned, like passed away. Her cells were just trying to be younger. But Misong, her question was she wants to uh, ask you more about like immortality. Do you feel you will not die in with your physical body right now? Actually, she turned on her camera. 뭐 하실 얘기
Yes,
있으신가요?
yes. The question is very simple. Uh, I thought I saw somewhere where you talk about immortality, and maybe could you
In your womb,
speak more about what you mean by immortality? Is it physical or spiritual? And if it is physical, do you think that it is really possible to not die physically,
mm,
or is it only the extension of life? Because
yeah,
um, I am curious about the fact that something, when
mm,
something begins, everything that begins must end sometime. So when we talk about immortality in the physical term, is it really possible?
mhm.
That's my question. Yes.
That's a really good question. And I don't know if I have all the answers to help your mind to perceive or understand it. But the one thing, if we somehow in our technology in our lifetime are able to live 1,000 years with Christ here, there's one thing that still has to be done. And it's the one where we were talking about, which is peace. If our mind, it really comes down to our mind. If our minds are not at peace within ourselves, if we are unable to resolve the conflict within ourselves, then it's going to be challenging for the physical body to exceed that past the immortality physically here with the human body. Is the technology there for us to live longer and longer and maybe live forever? What if forever is? Do you want to stay in your physical body forever? And what sort of relationship will we have with our creator in that way? And not that it matters that we need to know how or what that's going to look like. What it kind of breaks it down to is your soul evolution. Because no matter if you're here or wherever you are, the soul will still need to evolve. And so it still comes down to that place of really, truly loving yourself greater than you are, dissolving all things, and having that intimacy with with our creator and feeling that energy through our body in a greater aspect of what that is. So I can already see the answer to that question is yes, and it's also no. Because it's yes in the sense that it is thy will and creation's will when you leave your physical body, but you never ever die. There is no beginning or end. And if we talk about this time frame now, which is forgiveness, it talks about forever given in the love affair. It's no beginning and end, it's forever. So you are forever here. You're just residing in the physical body for whatever reason it is, and it's usually about soul evolution. Is it possible to be immortal? I think anything is possible. I think any physical human form is possible. Is it possible that the mind of who you are wants to be here? I don't know about that one. Can the physical body keep regenerating? Yes, it can. We've already proven it. This is why we together in humanity, we get to love each other even more. Regardless of what you've done, said, all those things, you are forgiven anyway. It really comes down to how much you feel worthy of your soul when the Lamb was already worthy. So when we get into that part, the physical is the spiritual, and it's also the mental and the emotional. And so it's a yes or no answer for you because there is no black and white in it. Is it possible? Yes. Is it possible for miraculous conception? Yes. Is it possible to have peace and contentment and fulfillment? Yes. Is it possible for you and your soul? I don't know. Only God knows. And you know that. Where did you come from beforehand? Because that's the place that you're always going to strive to be at. Can you bring that place, your heaven, into you? Because we come from heaven? Can my sister do that? Can you forgive everything? Everything. I went through this journey and I had like a camera screen of all the things that little Ranjeet did, even throwing a piece of paper on the ground that I completely forgot. I had to go forgive that. Every little part of who we are, can we bring peace into our heart? And I think we can have more immortality in that way. That'd be so beautiful because then I want to be here with you. And I also want to be with you if you're not here either. I think that's a really wonderful, beautiful question, and probably maybe the answer you don't want to hear because you too have to look in the mirror. And me too, I have to look in the mirror. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's okay. I love you. Love you very much already.
So I just
Yeah.
wanted to reiterate one point that maybe is key. You were saying that the body scientifically has already been proven that it can regenerate, but perhaps there's something in the mind that doesn't want to stay here. And that's why you're saying we need to ask ourselves, is this what it is?
Yeah. We need to really look at ourselves. And the more that we detach from the untruths in the world, like you just say, don't need many people actually in the world. Um, all conflicts can be resolved on this planet very quickly if we're willing to let go of the ego and surrender, and um, peace on earth can happen. And if we have that place of how we meant to live without the prison bars, how Adam and Eve were here, then we would be communing with Christ forever. So the light, the evolution of our technological bodies have to also enhance. So as the mind enhances, everything evolves. It's actually us. And then we go, okay, then forever, right, where we are in the forever anyway, is already here. So like, oh, okay, if it's already here, why is there an end?
Hmm.
So even to have an end, there is no end. You're going to go somewhere after the physical body. And may you may you forgive now yourself.
Maybe it's the immortality question. It's just like this talk. Theoretically, we could continue this talk forever. We could choose to end it too. So we enjoyed it, and but there wasn't any beginning or end like of this talk. Like we were connected before the talk, and we will be connected after the talk. So maybe something like that. Um, I don't know. Talking about immortality, maybe my mind started thinking about finishing the talk. So, um,
To moralize the discussion.
so yeah, maybe one of the last questions or topics, like the reason, or I feel like having this kind of community or festival in Korea is like the so many people I observe, so many people, including myself, part of myself, we're the the system, the money, like it had so strong like grip on me, like so people get stressed, and I don't know, it's just my perception, but for me the whole system's just designed to make people sick or like hooked into the system. People get emotional, people they get stressed and they eat, they fall sick, you know. So um, me being here on Earth, I feel just very drawn to maybe we don't need to live like this. So I don't know if you know the book Anastasia of Russia, this lady living in taiga, Siberia in Russia, but something in me, I feel very like we don't need to carry a baby like the way most people do. We don't need People don't need to live this body out of such a strong pain, out of all the toxins. So that's why maybe I feel like gathering people like you, Ranjit, and we've done some talks with other people. Marcus Vite, he's making a tribe in Latin America. So that was kind of where the festival is coming from. It's just I hope it's just not talks, but actually living, um walk the talk. But so how I'm curious, Ranjit, how you feel it Do you get stressed about work, money, um, so the system, whatever you want to share, if any?
Yeah, I can share. Yeah. So, stresses are something of the mind, and stresses is a place of suffering. I will entertain it for a little while. We can choose to believe and perceive what we want to, and um, and what we look at, what we see, who we talk to, our association will always make that to be a truth, which is an untruth. And so I'm not answering your question because kind of because you're asking me personally, and all I'm going to say is this, and then there's a topic within itself, right? We're responsible for humanity as well. We're responsible to impact and make change and be part of that. However, we're guided to do that. It'll always be there. The conflict in the lower realms are always here and they play out on the planet. And no one's right and wrong, right? Just as much as Paul had a massive conversion, uh, there is always love that will win, always, if we truly believe it. And I have never, from the moment I had nothing, which was nothing, my three angels said to me, everything that has been borrowed out to the universe that came through you will be returned to you over 1,000-fold, and if not greater. I will put it in the hands of good people, and that will be distributed amongst the people of the planet to be free. Money is just a construct of an idea, and it has restrictions and boundaries around it. We live in abundance and the limitless field. So in actual fact, that should be limitless and be given to everyone. We should be living free. And so it's a form of slavery in a way. And the more that we play in that world, obviously, the more we're going to receive it. But it's quite interesting, right? With technology, that is going to give the possibility for more freedom. As we evolve, it's natural for us to be more free in that way. And so I have zero fear. It's not there. And, my dad rings me up yesterday and he's freaked out about the fuel prices, right? And he goes, oh, you better go get this and that, water, blah, blah. All this stuff is going on to me. Go fill up your car with fuel. And I'm going, I don't live in your world. I have no fear. So if we really truly believe in abundance, it's there. But there are some higher forces that are working on the planet for us to not to be free. Don't entertain it. Like, don't go into like me. I might go into conspiracy. If you ever go onto my timeline, which is really funny, and anything I do, I always do this thing because God said to me, "Do not look sideways and do not look backwards. Always look in the light. Stay in the. This is a great male energy focus. Stay in the light. Stay in the light. Stay in the light. Focus on the vision. Focus on the vision. Then my people won't perish, right? So you know." Information does give power, right? And if we believe in 9 months to 9 days, this is a great way to end it, deep dive into the soul. We work with the universal patterns and cycles. We're going to figure out there's going to be gateways that are going to be open. And when things can happen, like what happened with me, right? No consuming. What happened with me was suddenly. So it's like bang. And all you're doing is preparing yourself for it in a way. You're putting yourself into a position and preparing and planning because we're going to have responsibility and be a steward of the abundance where there is zero stress. There is peace in our mind already. And we just got to be in it and act in it. And then it will come to us because we're open to it. Can we dissolve the stresses? Yes. I like that. See, I never talked about who the people are, because there's something very special about you, because you're very, very aware, all of you, very aware. So let's talk about that at the Korean Pranic Festival. People are not going to like some of the things I say. I tell you that now, because I am like, I've heard all the stories, I've heard the rhetoric, I've heard people just repeat, 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 repeat. Nothing new. Like, so are we evolving? Because if we're not evolving, we're devolving. And the more that we get the fire out of it out, if you really want me to go, I can go talk fire if you want. The more we get the fire of the words out there, in a way, it might wake people up a little bit, but it's definitely, why haven't people woken up beforehand? Like from what happened a few years ago. You would think there would be an awakening, a massive awakening. And we're going to go into another awakening, and it's going to be fun. So, yeah,
Mm.
love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you speak like Punjabi language too?
Sat Sri Akal, a little bit, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I have been. I've been to Dubai recently, and I didn't realize there's so many Punjabis there. Of course, then it starts to come back pretty quickly. But I would say
Mm.
50%.
Oh, okay. What is thank you in Punjabi?
Oh, well, it's just basically sus. You could just say Sat Sri Akal. That'd be easier because you will get away with it everywhere by
Sikal.
saying Sat Sri Akal. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so I feel we're good here. Patricia, Connie, Brit, anything to say or just Sashika? Or okay, okay.
Thank you. And it was nice to meet you all, and was so incredible to feel your hearts and feel the like widening and like some things like open up more. So it was nice. Thank you.
Thank you. 감사합니다. I'm just curious, where are you guys at? Patricia said she's in Holland, like Netherlands. Connie, where are you? Could you share?
I am Western Australia, up in the
Ah,
northern Western Australia.
okay. I might consider escaping Korean winter and going to Australia. I don't know, winter is a little bit difficult.
Yeah,
What
definitely.
happened to the Philippines? Sorry.
Yeah. Wait, what happened to the Philippines? Brit's from Estonia.
She's in Estonia now.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
from Estonia, so near to Finland and quite near to Patricia, so Europe.
Ah,
If we ever do another one, we would definitely promote, and we'll bring the Europeans on. They're
yeah,
so much fun. Yeah, yeah,
sounds
definitely,
nice. Sounds nice.
definitely. Yeah. There's not as many Australians actually, is there, Connie? I don't know where they are. Yeah, there's
Okay.
lots of Americans too. But yeah, next time, if it ever happens, if I do more of these, if I go into what's called I call it wisdom flow. People call it channeling or whatever. But if I go into my wisdom flow, um, if it happens and it allows it to be, then we can have more fun that way. But this is great to introduce ourselves with each other.
Yeah, maybe we could talk about animals like then, like seeing the dog
Yeah.
of Patricia. I once fed a dog fruitarian, and like I mean it's an interesting topic to say for the next time. Um, but yeah, Ranjit, do you have anything for the last or we just say
Oh,
bye-bye?
my last word. All I'm going to say is one thing is thank you for receiving me because I never know how people
Mhm.
receive me. So I appreciate that because I can be strong, even though I'm gentle. And I thank you for reaching out and thank you for introducing me to your world. I love that. And I love you all very much. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Love you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Next time I'll sing. I'll sing
Thank
next time.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. It was
Bye.
perfect. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
perfect.
Ranjeet, you want to sing something?
Oh, you want me to sing? Oh, I'll have to, if I can tap into it. Um, hmm. I'll see. Let me see. Let me feel it. Let me feel it. I think we'll leave it for another time because if I do sing, yeah, I'll go on and I can
Yeah.
feel the
Next
energy
time
coming through. Yeah, yeah. Next
when you
time
enter
we'll
the
do it.
Zoom just enter singing. Like
Singing, yeah, I can do that. If people
Okay,
listen to
guys.
if people listen to the Breatharian world, maybe the last or the one before, there's some singing in there somewhere. If
Oh,
people like it, yeah.
I think I've heard it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sing also in Deep Dive Soul a lot, many
Yeah, I
times.
do actually. I have.
Yeah, and then I have to cry. It goes so deep. Yeah, perfect.
It is perfect. Yeah. Even I have to, even for me, little Ranji, it warms my heart for me. So I thank the divine. Love you.
Love you.
Love you guys. See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a
Love
great
you.
day.
Bye.